Hi, baby.
Hello? Something else.
Oh, no. One of those?
One of those. Which one do you want?
Long day.
Long day.
You want all day?
Yes.
How are you?
I had good. How are you? I only had two in the morning, but I had five in the afternoon. And then we got sick.
How old are you again?
Hey,
Like,
Where was your helper?
he had a contract with her son today. Again. Got a notification.
Like a minute?
Well, I'm getting one Monday after Thanksgiving. And I have one next week.
Yeah, I was out of town 2 weeks ago, and then so yeah, it's been so busy. I think the weekend before I went right down to like every other weekend.
That's a lot for one night. Are y'all
so funny.
I know. I love the face.
Oh, there we go. That's very organized. Did y'all feel we were going to show them? Didn't know if y'all were going to show them.
Yeah, we wanted to give it our best shot. Welcome back. Amy told me not to call him tonight.
Huh? She said what?
Don't call him you tonight. You get a break.
I saw her the other day. I said, "You're the face I needed to see this morning."
She got out 16 trees and decorated the entryway today. Climbed 27 flights of stairs according to her watch.
She said she was gonna text me because she was gonna need help with the trees. I said, "You can text me." She did.
Yeah, this is a long week.
Yeah.
The week before Thanksgiving, she tried to get them all up.
All the trees and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. How's it going?
Good, are you?
Yeah, I think she's got volunteers coming in tomorrow and Friday,
That's good.
but they just come in there and look at her, so they don't know what to do.
Look at her.
Yeah, where's this go? Where's this go?
Well, yeah, because she's got the expertise and knows exactly where everything's supposed to be.
Well, she don't want them putting it on there because she ain't gonna like it.
Exactly.
I mean, they want to go get her coffee or something. I guess that would help. But, I don't know. She's a trip, man. How was it, buddy?
Good.
It's good to see some people in the seats, man. we had 7 last Wednesday. We might have had 7 Sunday, maybe.
A couple more.
Yeah, maybe that.
We just loaded. You gonna get it for you?
You what?
What's it say?
I guess it's. Remember when the preacher had it up there?
Yeah.
I guess it's still up there somewhere. I don't know where it
You
is.
gonna get it?
If you would like to.
Well, if you want, you need it, I'll go get it.
I mean, I taught Sunday without it. I don't know. I feel like some kind of professor or lecturer. So, we'll go ahead and. Oh man, they raised my board too. Unbelievable. All right. Seth, you want to lead us in a word of prayer, sir?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're so very thankful for this day. We're thankful for this Wednesday that we get to gather Christians of like-minded faith and learn more about you. We're thankful for everyone in this room. We're thankful for Chris as he teaches us tonight. Please help him to have a recollection of the things he studies and to present in a way that makes sense. Please help us to take something from this class and be attentive and be focused. We ask that we learn something from this class and take and apply it to our relationships and to our marriages. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Seth. Bear with me. Let's review for a couple of minutes, and those of you who are already here, Sunday, let's just review for a minute. So we're on our fourth hedge coming in. So we're building on the hedges. And the first hedges was
Three's Company.
Three's Company. Somebody explain the rule about that.
Because 3 is security.
So what do we mean by that?
You need backup sometimes. You're going to meet with a woman. Sometimes you mentioned having Amy with you. It's good to have somebody.
Yeah. So if you're having coffee or if you're having some kind of a business dinner or something like that, if at all possible, you want to have that third person with you at all times, just for appearance sake, if nothing else. Okay. What was hedge number 2?
Touchy.
Touchy. Here we go. So what do we mean by that? And give me an example of touchy. Appreciate it. What do we mean by touchy? What was that? What is this all about?
Okay.
This is how this works. When I ask a question, y'all get to speak and answer. I throw that just kind of like volley, you know what I'm saying? So, seriously, this is not just my class. This is for everybody. So tell me, this is the touchy piece. What do we mean by this? This is where, honestly, I've had to alter my view of how I do things. I'm a very touchy person. I come up and touch you on the shoulder. That's how I talk to all of you. And that's how I'm kind of endearing that way. But I had to really watch that. So.
And I understood it, but he didn't mean anything I said wrong if I did with that. Probably more likely just like trying to get someone's attention.
Right. So.
But
a lot of times when I'm in my office, it don't matter who comes in to pay a bill or whatever, I'll touch them on the shoulder and say, hey, thanks for coming in or whatever. But I'm pretty consistent with that with everybody. But I don't hug them, and nobody seems to be offended at that. It's a matter of, to me, it's a matter of endearment. Hey, I'm present. I'm listening to you. You have my attention. It's all about you in the moment. That's how I interpret the touching piece. But I'm very cognizant of what that means. I don't put my hand around you and say, hey, how's it going today? I never do that. Ever. Liam?
I remember my wife, after we got married, she said, keep your hands to yourself. For a few years, I was young then, after I got married, but I understand exactly what she's talking about now.
Yep.
And then Vince made a very good point. He said that, he didn't mean nothing by it, and he said someone filed a complaint against him. So, yeah, the person should receive it as a flirtatious, sexual. They can interpret it as something negative.
Right.
That's the bottom line. The receiver can receive that such and such in a negative way.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm not. There's so many indirect rules. I wouldn't have time to even tell you what's in my mind, but I think it'd be consistent that I don't go below the shoulder. It's somewhere around the shoulder, never the small of the back or anything like that. That's not my intent. So obviously, probably it's better to keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then it better be the appropriate. Better be on the same page.
Unless it's the same sex. I mean, I'm talking to another brother. That's different, but the opposite sex, sure.
Yeah. So never know about that either.
Yeah.
Good point. I like how you said that.
I'm just saying.
Never know about it. Okay, good.
I'm just saying.
Point taken.
Heather.
I like it.
being respectful of each other's boundaries.
Yeah.
Like you made the point about putting the hand up on the shoulder.
Right.
I wasn't upset at all offended. I didn't feel like you had done anything inappropriate.
Yeah.
But someday you might meet someone who does.
But
that's just
Yes,
You know,
but there,
something you have to keep in mind.
but let's be honest, even in the church, and there's no wrong with this, some people don't like to be touched. And that's okay. So it's up to me to recognize that it's not a matter of they're not being disrespectful to me. I should have enough respect to them to abide by their wishes. So I should know that, pay attention to that. So like I say, if it all else fails, keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong doing it that way.
I'll say this, the ones that are not touchy and don't want you to touch them, that does not give them an excuse not to salute one another with a kiss up. And be friendly and smile and just say, hey, I'm doing great, how you doing, whatever. It doesn't give you the okay to not do anything.
Right.
And not speak. That's what happens sometimes with some of our members.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Can't be rude.
Can I piggyback on what you said? Because you know the evangelist that preached the gospel meeting. What did he say? He made a very good point. He said somebody made mention that can't wait to get to heaven so we can be close. That's what Dennis is talking about. Man.
Yeah.
He said, no, we're supposed to be close now so we can help each other get to heaven.
That's right.
Yeah.
I said, wow. You know, it really,
I may know that myself, by the way.
they really set well with my heart, man, because some Christians actually think that. That's exactly what he said. And that's why it's so hard for us to come together in fervent love. The Bible talks about fervent love now. Just not love, but fervent love. Accept me with my faults. You know, I might be different. She might be different, but fervent love draws us close together.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's what the Bible teaches.
Yeah.
That's what Dennis is talking about.
So
Closeness is here now, so we can help each other go to heaven.
So we do have to recognize that there needs to be a term of endearment
Sure.
to the fellow brother or sister.
Right.
You know, if we're not this, then there needs to be something else.
Yeah.
Right. So, what was number 3? Do y'all remember?
Some compliments don't pay.
What was the distinguishing difference on how we should compliment somebody? Do you remember what kind of compliment? What to stay away from?
Talk about objects rather than person.
Yep. Objective versus personal. Hey, I like your shirt versus you look fine in that shirt. Big difference, which obviously you know what I mean. But obviously that would be reserved for my person, right? So if you compliment somebody, you know, be more objective. Hey, I like your shoes. You know, I like your hairstyle, or if you want to compliment like that. I do that with my staff sometimes. It's never personal. Anybody want to add to that? That was the third hedge.
I think an important part of that too is how you approach or how you say it.
Yeah.
That's probably the key factor on both of them.
And also like motivation, you know, what is compelling you to say that to somebody. You know, because there are, I mean, I know of cases where women, they compliment to the man really because they just want some of his attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it started out with, well, I don't want to have an affair with him, I just wanted a little bit of his attention. So they got a little bit of it, but then up and they want more. And it just sends you on like a downward spiral.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, funny videos and funny things, and men. Alan, tell me if I'm wrong. Have you ever walked past somebody of the opposite sex and they were fairly attractive, JR, and your wife said, "Then did you like her dress?" What are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. I know it's kind of funny, but sometimes, you know, maybe the woman wants to know if you're looking, right? I mean, do you notice? And it's not a sin to necessarily notice, but it's a sin to take that somewhere else in your mind that shouldn't be appropriate. But you know what I'm saying, right, Alan? Yeah. All right, what's hedge number 4?
About flirtation.
What's wrong with that?
Don't do it. Not your spouse.
Do you consider everybody who's married, do you still flirt with your spouse to some degree in some form or fashion?
There's a lot of flirtation before we got married. There's a lot of flirtation. But after we got married, there's no flirtation unless it's with my wife. You understand? There was a lot of flirtation prior to choosing my wife. Trying to convince her I wanted to marry her, there's a lot of flirtation.
Yeah.
But after we was married, there was no flirtation outside of my marriage. That was understood after we was married. That was just understood.
I was reading the back of the lesson in the study guide for chapter 10, and we've been in this lesson. This is lesson 10. We've been in here 11 weeks. My math is anywhere near correct. Roughly 11 weeks. Has anybody in here gone on a date? And if you did, where'd you go? It's been over 2 months. Gentlemen, did you go on a date with your spouse? And if you did, where'd you go? I don't care if we went to the backyard. Did you go somewhere where it was intentional? There was little phone interaction, little TV interaction. It was just conversation between the two of you. Might have been to a football game or a basketball game. Didn't have to be a candlelight dinner, for goodness sake. Could be out in the backyard over a table with a dinner in a quiet moment. Has anybody gone out on a date in the last 2 months?
We try to do it. We call it date night at least once a week.
All right.
I mean, that keeps us going.
So what's your normal thought process? What's your normal routine on your date? What do you try to do? Dinner?
Dinner, basically.
Okay.
Nice dinner. I mean, not a fast food or nothing. But you sit down dinner, which is, of course, in our case lately, it's been hard to do. But
Right. Yeah, there's time for all that.
we enjoy that. Actually, it's our time together. You know, the whole world spinning around us. That's our time. So,
Okay. We've tried to. I was born and raised here. We try to pick out a restaurant that we've never been to in Memphis every week, just to try something different. So that becomes a challenge sometimes based on my limited palate and appreciation for food.
Only so many chicken nuggets.
That's exactly right. There's no Indian curry food for me, those kind of things. But we try to pick out some place that we've never been to before. It doesn't matter, doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be different and not fast food. Anywhere in between. So that's kind of our little thing. But we have more time now. Raising kids, couldn't do that once a week. One, couldn't afford it. Number two, we was always going places. And you just don't have that kind of time, so I get that. Has anybody had a date in the last 2 months?
Oh yeah, my wife and I always go out.
Okay. So here's the deal. Here's the challenge, and the book keeps going to this. You need to try to find that time to spend with each other just one-on-one. Because no matter how, and I'm very a testament to this, because my kids we were empty nesters, but now we're officially empty nesters, because they have their own jobs, they don't come home from college, they don't come home. And now they have found their person, so they don't call near as much. So it's another level to the empty nester. Okay? So I'm just telling you that you better stay connected with your spouse and spend that time, because there's going to come a time where It really is just the two of you. And it's kind of hard if you start growing apart, that you're going to wake up one day and the house is going to be empty and say, I don't really know that person. Because you didn't continue to practice and build on what you committed to all those years ago. You've got to stay somewhat focused. And you don't, and I'm not talking about spending money, I'm talking about spending time. And there's a lesson coming up, it's quality versus quantity. And everybody's got to make their decisions what that means to you. And whether or not it's a date night at home, I got friends that love to cook. And they'll cook a nice meal. And they'll turn all the electronics off and they'll have a conversation. That's great. That's a date. That's fine. And if you want to go out to a movie, that's fine. You want to have a picnic, that's fine. I don't care. But we have to be intentional, and you got to leave everybody else out, or you're going to lose what you started. That's my advice to you for tonight. Take it for what you want.
I remember hearing that maybe before taking this class, and just really thinking about, what you're saying as far as your kids will one day be gone, and you still have to be on the same page, and you'll both grow, and your wants will change, and what you like to do will change, and if you're not staying connected, then once your kids get out of the house, you realize you don't have anything in common anymore. And I just remember hearing that and being like, wow, it's so true, because even in the years we've been married, what we used to like to do together may have changed from even now. And then when the kids get out of the house, it'll be a wake-up call, if you're not connected. So that's a good reminder.
Consider that we haven't the one thing I didn't count on is my body not being exactly how it was 30 years ago. I thought at this time I did playing a lot of golf. My back's telling me that's not going to happen. And so that's changed. I play with my uncle once in a blue moon. I can't do it. My thought processes have changed. Me and Amy have bought bikes now. We do some bike riding together. We do some walking together. So we're finding ways. I don't go off by myself. This is just me. And ride my bike for hours without her. We just go and have a good time with it, take a picnic. So that's some quality time for us. So, but we've chosen these things. So the thing is, what your enjoyment is today may not be later. There may be circumstances where that changes. So you got to find ways to continue to try to strive to figure out what your common goals are and do that. And don't lose that. You don't just forget about it for years and then pick it back up and think it's going to be natural to you. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay.
We went on a date. Forgot. We went bike riding together.
Way to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always go on a bike ride, and this time she decided to come with me.
And my honey still hurts, so.
I'm up with some bike bridges.
I mean, yeah.
They help. They help. Promise. So there was in the back. It's got some interesting questions, and it's always meant for us to give our opinions. And we talk about the tongue in the Bible. We're gonna read this in a few minutes in James chapter 3. How one of the smallest parts of the body is the most dangerous in the tongue and the things that we say. How many of you in this room have ever said something that you wish you could eat it and take it back? So it's such a reactive thing, and go, man, I wish I wouldn't. I don't know about you men or women, but when I see Amy cry, it's over. I'm done, because I'd rather her not cry than me be right. So I'm normally apologizing, and we're going to make this right. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to move on. And so that's when I know that I've pressed the button too hard for me. I never wanted to see that. So we have louder discussions sometimes more than others, but I never want to see that out of her. It's not worth that to be. So, do any of you have a line when you're arguing or having a disagreement with your spouse that you know that you've crossed and gone too far, that you want to admit in front of everybody? I know we're talking about flirtation, but this is important.
I always say, honey, I love you. I'm just gonna walk away. You know, when I see the conversation getting, I mean, this is now when you get this point. You get to this point in your marriage where you say, honey, I don't want to offend you. I don't want this to get out of hand. So I'm just gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk into the living room. That's what I do. I just walk away. If I see something that's getting ready to boil over, I just walk away. And I'm gonna walk away because I love you. That's my way out.
Mm-hmm.
When I see that the conversation is getting out of hand, when I see that it's lead to sin, I'm gonna walk away because I love you. That's my word.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's interesting. I'm doing research for this class. I read a lot of articles, and you know, you think about why do men cheat, why do women cheat, and it's obviously all across the board. There's no one thing, but the one thing that's fairly consistent of the articles that I've read, adultery is not one of the top 5. It's what drove it to get to that point is the problem. There's so many other small nuances. It's the small details that we've talked about that we don't pay enough attention to each other that draws us away. It's the little things. Mm-hmm. It's the holding of the hand. It's the praying together. It's the doing the small things for one another. I don't need anybody to spend money on me. I want your time. That's the most valuable gift you can give me. And the older I get, the more I want that. The more that makes sense. Next week's going to be one of the most valuable weeks because I get to see all my family next week under the same roof. I'll sleep well next week for a couple of nights anyway. And you know, so now as I get older, that all is starting to make more sense of what's the most valuable to you. And it starts with my spouse. And then my kids. And it needs to be in that order. It doesn't need to be my kids and then my spouse. Because I had her before the kids and I'll have her after the kids. So just keep that in mind. The flirtation sometimes in today's age with phones and things, there should never be a time where that couldn't happen on occasion. You know, it could be something of, hey, looking forward to you being home tonight. I'm making you a special dinner. Or I'm cooking dinner tonight, and you don't have to. Or, hey, when I get home, I'm keeping the kids. You go take you a bath, take the night off, or I'm putting the kids to bed. You go read a book, and you take the night off. I've got it. It's the little things. And Amy reminded me real quick, I'm not babysitting my kids. They're your kids. So don't even use that term. You know, so the thing is, it wasn't the idea of babysitting. It's the mentality of, no, you're not doing me a favor. These are your kids. You know what I'm saying? So that mentality hit home with me. It's like you think I'm going to come home from work and I'm going to do you a favor by watching my own kids. No, they're your kids. So the thing is, the idea of coming home and thinking that I've had such a tough day and you haven't, so you watch the kids, William. So I'm not, you know, to get into this idea of who's out working who's keeping score, who's not keeping company, who's not touching your spouse, who's not complimenting your spouse, who's not flirting with your spouse. Wait till somebody else does, and then see where we are. And that's the little bitty opening that you're trying not to create. And if you're dating somebody who's not a little bit of this, it generally doesn't get any better. Because it's a character flaw. Now, a lot of your psychologists, and I'm not one of them, tells you that people can't change. And I don't really understand that to that degree. Because I think we can get better at being more complimentary and being, but if you're dating somebody and they don't open the door for you, or they don't do some small things while you're dating, they never will. If they don't want to pray with you before a dinner, they're not going to want to pray with you after you're married. That generally doesn't get. If you want a strong Christian and they're not while you're dating, they're generally not going to get any better just because you put a ring on it, as they say. Well, when we get married, it's all going to get better. When we have a kid, it's all going to get better. Okay. Okay. Well,
Bro, you said that, the divorce wasn't at the top of the list. One of the things that really caused that bad stuff to happen to your marriage when you don't respect your wife in your marriage at home behind closed doors. Me and my wife, we talk about that a lot. We talk about, now we talk about that, respecting one another. And when you respect one another, those things up there don't happen. When you respect your wife in the house, when you pray with her, when you tell her that you love her, when you tell her that, honey, I'm sorry. I said something I should have said. Honey, I'm sorry. My tone, my voice, the tone of my voice can change, and it can sense, and she can receive it as a problem. Just the tone of my voice, So when I'm talking to my wife, my voice has to be soft. And sometimes I think she did it on purpose. I said, "What'd you say?" She'll speak low on purpose so she can get my attention. And it works. I don't know if she do it on purpose. It gets my attention. That's one of her pet peeves. And it's just you can't hear it. It's just speak low on purpose. And I said, to me, I gotta step up my game. I gotta figure out what she's saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, well, she's trying to get me to pay attention to the little things. Is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? She speaks soft for a reason. To teach me.
Yeah.
To teach me.
You've got a question in here, and those of you who are raising kids, and some of your children may be too small, and some of you have raised grown children. One of the questions is, what do our children learn from us about the way to handle disagreements?
All right.
Have your children seen you argue, and how do you handle that? Have they seen you disrespect their mother? And has your mother disrespected you behind your back? I'll give you a couple examples. Have you ever gone to a daughter and say, "You're not going to wear that out," and the mother goes, "Don't worry about it. You can wear it out. I'll talk to your dad." Now, what did you just teach her? You don't have to take your dad seriously. You just disrespected the head of the household. That's what you just did, right? And the same's in reverse. You let your kid disrespect your wife, not their mother, your wife. You're basically telling them the same thing about their mom. You don't have to respect your mom. I'll take care of you as a dad. I'm the fun guy. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't let the kids come between you and your spouse. You can't let the disrespect linger on something like that. You're never. And what is my spouse going to do when I do that, and then I come back and try to compliment or flirt with her? You've already disrespected me. This don't mean anything. You see where the wedge comes in, because it's not consistent, right?
What I think about too, and that's really important, when we're also teaching our children how we treat our spouse. what to look for in a spouse and what to expect from their spouse. And I'm reminded of that sometimes when I think about that, as how I treat Alan, is how Mabel will think she can treat her husband, good or bad, and same for Caleb. So remind myself of that.
Yeah. Do they see you apologize? Do they see you work through the decisions that you're making and why you make that decision? I think that's good for them to see. Money decisions, what we do, why we do it, explain it to them. So they have that logic built in later on.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing. It becomes a real challenge when they're in their teenage years and they know more than you, and they'll let you know it. It becomes a challenge to be the adult in the room, to be the strong Christian man we're called to be, and to support the strong Christian woman that we marry. It's important to stay on the same page and to support that, because you're trying to raise children. And so the thing is, why I'm telling you all that is because when you put all this together, this is not going to mean a whole lot if you're disrespecting the other things. It's not going to mean a whole lot. You can't talk bad behind my back and then come to my face and tell me that you're going to give me a compliment. It's not going to work, because you lose that closeness and you lose that trust. And so if you feel like it's already slipping a little bit, then give some thought and give some time and even pray about it or think about, is this a direction you want your marriage to continue on? If it's not, then start making those small changes to come back to what it should be. Let's go to James 3 real quick. We're losing time. We're talking about taming the tongue, and I want to read the 10 verses. James 3, 2 through 12. Does anybody want to volunteer to do that for me? James 3, 2 through 12.
I'll read it. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Look also at ships. Although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body, and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, and reptile, and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind, but no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and our Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. Does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus, no spring can yield both salt water and fresh.
You think about some of the things that we say to our spouse and we wish we could take back. And, sometimes I wish I was a little bit slower to speak. That's a running joke in my family, and I've told this before. We were trying to get ice cream in Destin, and I pointed at Amy. I said, "No, it's not my fault, it's yours," or something. I don't know what I did, but she goes, "Don't you point at me in public." And the kids started laughing. I said, "You're right, I'm sorry." And we laughed about that today, because it was just kind of like, "Don't you point at Mom in public then." Yeah, I should do that. So, but it was over ice cream, where we were meeting for ice cream and what time. That's how important it was. You know what I'm saying? On vacation. I mean, it was really big stuff, man. I mean, so it's the most ridiculous thing. I don't remember any argument being more important than the feelings of my spouse. it just wasn't worth the win. So, if you think about that, trying to hold on to so much pride is a challenge. We all want to be right, but how much do we really want to be right at the end of the day? We really got to weigh the consequences on something like that. So when we talk about one of the last questions we'll have time for is what hedge do you need to plant and nurture to strengthen your relationship? Is it one of these four so far, or is it something else? Or have we kind of hit it so far? There'll be a few more. But is there a hedge that we need, or you need, I'll say we, could be better at? And if you don't want to answer, that's fine, but realize that we're all imperfect, and we've all got something to always work on, no matter how old we are. I'm always guarded, because I don't want anybody to interfere with what I have. And so I try not to take, I'll say that way, Amy for granted. And the one thing is, I'm definitely not going to let anybody take advantage of her. And so the thing is, you can hurt me all you want. You hurt her, we got a problem. You hurt my kids, we got two more problems, right? And we're going to have problems. And so I hope I'll have my wits about me, but the thing is, Amy will flirt with me sometimes just using our phone. And so if nothing else, gentlemen or ladies, just say, it's a simple text. Doesn't have to be a phone call. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. Hope your day went well. Any small thing would be beneficial. Any small thing of recognition to say, I thought about you just for a few moments in my day. Right? So, the thing is, this one, we're not even going to get into love languages right now, the 5 love languages. That's probably a little bit too deep for you men.
Even though it was written by a man.
I'm just saying. No, I mean, we may address it later if we have time for a summary, but that's important too. You have to know what drives your spouse, what makes them happy, what makes them unhappy. I'm an active service kind of guy. I don't care what you tell me, I want to see you do it. I've had too many people lie to my face. I'm in politics. Don't really mean anything to me. Show me what you're going to do. You can say it all you want, but that's me. And all of you should know yours and your spouse. If they don't know you, we got work to do. We need to know that. Anybody got any comments on these 4 so far?
I think number 3 is ultra important compliments, like you stressed tonight. And that goes back to over-communicating. I'd rather over-communicate and tell Susie she looks good, I love her, I like your hair, and I do that often, and she does me too. But it's better to over-communicate and talk about issues and problems and compliment one another than to under-communicate. A lot of times, I know couples under-communicate. They may think it, but they don't express it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, don't take it for granted.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
If you don't have any accent, though, how does he say it?
I'll let y'all talk about that. Oh, yeah.